Hey guys, it's Mel here, and I thought today I would do a little video for you to talk about my sales for the month of February, because for the whole month of February I didn't list. I had some personal stuff going on in the month of February and I was really just a little bit flat. I was struggling to find my mojo, and I'm not gonna fib about it. I had stuff going on and mentally I just couldn't cope with listing and keeping up that daily momentum that I do normally have. So I thought this would be a really good video just to come in and let you know exactly how I went after not listing for an entire month, because there's so much stigma in this reselling world about you have to list every single day to get sales. And I think that if you look at my numbers, you'll be probably quite surprised at how much I still sold without listing. So I thought that I would just come in here, be totally transparent, share my numbers with you, share exactly how many sales I made. And not only that, but I'm going to give you my sales figures for the 2 months prior as well, just so you can see exactly how much my sales dropped by having a good 4 weeks off listing. So let's go. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. This is my eBay book that I tally up every single day how many listings that I've made. For quite some months now, I've been using pen and paper to make a tally every single day of how many things I list. It keeps me accountable, and it just makes me aware of the days that I'm working harder than others, and maybe I can look back at the end of my week and say, why was I more productive on these days? What happened? Was there a reason I got held back? Yada, yada, yada. But as you can see, this is what my book looks like. And you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but basically I have my 3 stores, store 1, store 2, and store 3. Yes, I have 3 stores. I've talked about this before. Store 1 is my main store. Store 2 is a bookstore, and store 3 is a fairly new random store. Stores 2 and 3 only have a few hundred items in them. I don't list as often in those stores, but I do try and consistently list in my main store. So this little book has all my tallies. So I was just going to show you. This is the start of February. So down here, 1st and 2nd, no listings. You can see even that week before, not many listings. Not the amount that I was used to. Okay, so here is the next week of February. So store 3, which is my random store, I listed 12 things on it on the 6th of February. 12 things, okay? That's not my main store. The next week, I listed nothing on any store. This is the following week. Okay, again, there is nothing listed on my main store. I listed 7 books in the bookshop, and on the 3rd random store, I listed 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 items in that whole week. So all up with that one, I'm now up to 42 listings for the month on the 3rd store, and 0 on the main store, and 7 in the bookstore. And for the rest of the month, you will see here, no listings. So yeah, that just keeps me on top. You can see the following week I have come back again, not many listings, but that's when I was going to Queensland and yada yada. Full transparency. So there you go. 0 items have been listed in my main store. My main store had about 1,400 items. I listed 7 books in a bookstore where there's about 300 books listed. So 7 in an entire month, not many. And I listed 42 items for the entire month in store 3, which is my random store. It's DVDs, a few pieces of clothing. I am going to start putting more clothing in that store, but it's really like DVDs, plush toys, and just games and things like that. So it's random. But 42 things for that in a month, if you work that out, that works out to be an average of 1.5 items a day. So it's not making a huge difference. And when I looked at my numbers, I was actually only within $100. Actually, it was $100 less on that store than the month before. So listing those 42 items in that month didn't make a difference to my sales in that store. Take into account, it is a new store. It doesn't, well, fairly new anyway. It's, a few months now, but it's not a store that I work on daily. I don't list on it daily. It doesn't have much feedback. It's only a new store, and the items in it aren't great, and it's not my primary breadwinner. The main store is my primary breadwinner, and I listed 0 items on that store. Now let's get to the nitty gritty, because I know you want the numbers. So what I've done is I've added up, which is what I do when I do my bookkeeping. I add in all the 3 stores together, and it's money in, money out, Sales that I've made, less all the expenses that I've paid, equals my profit. I'm not here to talk about my profit and my fees and my shipping and anything like that today. I just am here strictly to talk about the sales that came through while I didn't list, It's very unlike me to not list in my main store. Normally I would list between 100 to 150 items a week in that main store. So I listed none. Huge difference. Okay, so I've added up my sales and the number of orders I've done for the last 3 months. So here we go. Okay, my sales for February, doing 0 listings on the main site, 7 on the book site, and 42 on the new and upcoming small random site. My monthly sales was $7,460.76. I did 261 orders. So yeah, I did a lot of orders, 261 orders. 200 of those orders came from the main store, and I didn't list on the main store. 200 orders, no listings. Okay, so let's go to January, just so you can see it. So for January, my total sales were $9,897, and I did 342 orders. So if you're looking at that, I did an extra 81 orders in January to what I did in February. And I did an extra $2,400, rounding it up, in sales over that month in January. So if you looked at January, you would say my sales were down $2,400 roughly. Divide that by 4 weeks, we're looking at about $600 difference a week in sales drop. I just wanted to go back till December because January wasn't the best month for me either. I don't think January is a great month for everyone. I was winding down a little bit after the Christmas rush. But I thought I'd come in here because December was a good month for me. So December, I did, where are we? $10,097.79 in sales and 364 orders. So yeah, so if you look at that, I was down 100 orders from the month of December, and my sales were $2,500. Is that right? $7,460 and 10,097. 2,600. So, I think I said that for the February, but that must have been wrong. But, really, January was 9,800 in sales. December was 10,097. So not a huge difference. So if you average it out to around 10,000, which is what I was kind of consistently getting, was the $10,000 a month in sales, I dropped to 7,460 in February with no listing. So work it out to, I've got it written down here. It worked out to be $659 difference roughly in a week that I dropped, which equals to about $94 in sales a day. So I don't know. What do you guys think about? I mean, I think that for me to do $7,460 and not list, I can't really count that store. The other store that I listed 42 items on in the whole month, it's the difference in sales are like $50 between the months. So, and it was $50 down from the month before. So I wouldn't say that those 42 items in that month made a huge difference to my sales. That store isn't where my sales come in. My sales come in off my main site. My main site for February, the 200 orders. My main site for January did 253 orders. And my main site in December did 271 orders. So you can see that I was down orders. And if you work that out, it's like 70 orders from December. That was the difference. And when you divide that over 4 weeks, that's not actually a huge amount. So I feel pretty good about that. I was able to, my business didn't die in the ass because I took 4 weeks off without listing. So if you ask me, it's absolutely bollocks for people to say, if you don't list, you don't get sales. Yes, you're still going to get sales. No, they're not going to be quite as good. However, I don't think that's anything to sniff about. And my bad month is probably somebody else's good month. I need to get it back up to that 10,000 a month mark. And in fact, I am aiming for 15,000 a month. So, you know, at the moment now, because I've dropped, I do have a little bit of a way to go. But this week I'm back on the wagon. I am moving house, so it's going to be a little bit stressful to get my listings up. I am aiming for 100 to 150 items to be listed this week. Let me turn my light up. So yeah, I think I'm already up to about close to 40 for the week, and it's Wednesday. But I know it's not enough, but I've got some more items here that are photographed and ready to list, and I'm going to do that this evening, and I'll be able to get those numbers up. The idea was kind of about 20 a day for the rest of this week, so that would get me to that 140 mark. So it'll be interesting to see now if I can pull my listings up to around that 100, 150 listings a week in the main store. How much of a difference that'll make to my sales going forward now. It'll be interesting for me to come back in a couple of months and go, okay, so I dropped from 10,000 to 7,460. So how long did it take me to get back up to 10,000? So if you're interested in that, I will come back and share that information. But yeah, even though it's now like the 12th of March, I've only really just started getting back into listing this week because last week I had to go away for a wedding and I'd been in Queensland, and I've just had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life that's been affecting my amount of time that I've been able to photograph and list. But I do know that to get these sales back, I have to jump back on the bandwagon, and I don't want them to drop any more than what they did drop. So I'm okay with the level that they dropped, 600 odd a week, $95 a day. It's not a huge amount. I can live with that, you know. But at the end of the day, I don't want it to drop any further. I do want to pull those levels back up again, and I am going to be coming back to Old Mill, finding my mojo and working really hard again. But yeah, there you go. There's the comparison. That's my sales. I hope you found that interesting. don't stress if you miss a few days listing. That's my advice. Your store's going to survive. Your store's going to keep chugging along. And as long as what you've got in your store is decent quality stock and it's priced to move, you're going to still get those sales. So that's my advice. That's my point of view. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in the different countries, like maybe America's different to Australia. Maybe UK is different again. But that's just my experience. Totally honest with you, totally transparent. And I hope that you have enjoyed hearing how it went. Anyway, I'm back to listing. See ya.